It was 6:13 a.m. on a rainy Tuesday in the quiet coastal town of Windmere when Officer Clara Hensley got the call. The Harrington estate, a sprawling Victorian mansion sitting atop the cliffs, had reported a body in its private library. The victim was identified as Eleanor Harrington, the wealthy matriarch of the Harrington family, known for her charitable work and ironclad control over the family fortune. Eleanor was found slumped in a leather armchair near the fireplace. There was no sign of forced entry, no broken windows, no signs of struggle, but her teacup was shattered on the floor, and the faint smell of almonds lingered in the air. Cyanide. The Harringtons were a picture-perfect family on paper, until you looked closer. Eleanor had 3 children. Daniel Harrington, the eldest, a charming but reckless businessman drowning in debt after failed investments. Lydia Harrington, the middle child, a sharp-tongued art dealer who had been cut off financially by her mother 2 years earlier. Miles Harrington, the youngest, a quiet writer who rarely visited the estate and avoided family drama. Also living in the house was Helen Wren, Eleanor's personal assistant, who had been with the family for nearly 15 years. She claimed to have found the body when bringing Eleanor her morning papers. Detective Inspector Rowan Vale was assigned to the case. Vale was meticulous, the kind of man who could see a pattern in chaos. His first question was simple: who was in the house last night? Helen swore only Eleanor had been home, but the housekeeper quietly told Vale she had heard voices in the library after midnight. 2 voices, one of them Eleanor's. The other? She couldn't identify. When asked, Daniel claimed he had been in London. Lydia said she was at an art gallery opening. Miles insisted he was at his flat writing. But all 3 had no solid alibis. 2 days later, the family lawyer revealed a bombshell. Eleanor had changed her will the day before she died. Instead of dividing her wealth equally, she had left everything to an animal sanctuary, with a modest monthly allowance for each child. Every single one of her children had a clear motive. And there was one more twist. The witness to the will change was Helen Wren. While combing through Eleanor's library, Vale found a small, crumpled piece of paper under the armchair cushion. It was part of a letter, and the words were chilling. If you go through with this, the truth about 1984 will come out, and none of us will survive. The year 1984 had no obvious significance, but Vale knew this wasn't just about inheritance. It was about a secret. After digging into archives, Vale discovered that in 1984, a young maid named Rebecca Lowe had vanished from the Harrington estate without a trace. The case was never solved, but rumors suggested she had been pregnant, and that the father was one of the Harrington men. If Eleanor had planned to go public with something from that year, it could have destroyed the family's reputation and perhaps revealed a long-buried crime. Vale received forensic results. Cyanide traces were found in a sugar jar in the kitchen. Only 4 people had access: Eleanor, Helen, and her 2 eldest children, Daniel and Lydia. Miles had a severe sugar allergy and hadn't used the kitchen in years. Then came another piece of evidence: CCTV footage from a neighbor's security camera. At 12:47 a.m. on the night of the murder, a figure was seen leaving the estate and heading toward the cliffs. When Vale confronted Helen privately, she broke down. She admitted she had seen the killer, but hadn't spoken out because of what she called the agreement. Eleanor had been planning to tell the police what happened to Rebecca Lowe in 1984. Helen knew the killer's identity, but the truth would destroy someone she loved. With pressure mounting, Helen finally revealed it. The killer was Miles Harrington. Miles had always been the quiet one, but he was also Rebecca Lowe's son. Eleanor had taken him in as her own child after Rebecca died in childbirth, but had lied to him for decades. When Miles found old letters revealing the truth, he confronted Eleanor. She told him she planned to expose what happened, including the fact that Rebecca's death had been caused by Daniel's violent drunken outburst. Miles couldn't bear to see the scandal and shame it would bring. In his mind, killing Eleanor was the only way to keep the past buried. Miles confessed in a calm, detached voice. She was going to burn everything down. I stopped her. He was arrested, but his trial revealed more than just a murder. It unearthed the dark history of the Harrington family: greed, lies, and the life of a young maid stolen by those with power. As Detective Vale left the courthouse, rain beginning to fall again, he couldn't shake the thought. In Windmere, some murders don't end with the killer behind bars. They just change the shape of the silence.